Hi, everybody. Good afternoon and welcome. My name is Roger Heitzig. I'm the current president of your club. For those of you who don't know me, we're going to start off. Ryan couldn't make it today, so we've got the second best thing, maybe the best thing. Jeff is going to start us off with some Rotary bucks. While he does that, if you're not going to throw into Jeff's blue bucket, can we get the blue bucket started around the tables? And a reminder, a lot of us, myself included, don't carry cash anymore. There's a QR code on the back, so you can no more I didn't bring cash excuses. So anyhow, let's get going here.
Thanks, Roger. Afternoon, everybody. Jeff Pettis. Hardly the first choice, definitely not the second choice, maybe somewhere down at the bottom of the barrel. Speaking of barrels, I want to start off with Mark Leonard, who has brought some guests today. Would you like to say something and introduce the guests?
Hey guys, my name is Mark Leonard. I'm with Northwestern Mutual, and I decided to bring a lot of guests, and a lot of people wanted to talk to me. So I wanted just to introduce a couple of my guests. We have some great guests from the United Way, some other companies, Lime Painting. And I'm just going to go ahead and just pass the mic over and just give an opportunity for everybody to speak and just introduce themselves. I'm going to start with Shaw Castleman.
Oh, wow. Okay. Hi, my name is Shaw Castleman. I'm with United Way of Greenville County, and I am a corporate engagement manager there and very excited to be here. So thank you for hosting us.
My name is Will Johnson. I am also a corporate engagement manager for United Way of Greenville County. We're really excited to be here, and I look forward to meeting more of you.
Hey, my name is Ben Rosenberger. I actually just joined the Pleasantburg Club, so I'm a visiting Rotarian, but I couldn't say no to Mark's invitation. So super excited to be here. I run Ultimate Exercise. We're a personal training studio. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm Kevin Bishop. I'm with Lime Painting. Everybody always goes, what is Lime? What does that stand for? It stands for Love, Integrity, Mission, and Excellence. We're an interior and exterior painting company. We're new to the upstate. Thank you for having me.
Hello, good morning, everyone. I'm from Belgium. My name is Patience Dipita, and I'm the owner of the Belgium Waffles Cart. Thank you.
All right. Thanks for joining us, guys. Welcome. And thanks, Mark. All right. Who else has some happy bucks they want to share? All right. What do we got?
So I'm just happy that I've got two fine ladies from Alexander Elementary here that we'll introduce in a little bit, but they're doing great work. The kids are loving that school's almost over. Thanks.
Thanks, Mike. Who else? Throw your hand up. Don't be shy. Miss Weiland. Dankeschön.
I'm very happy today because last Friday I had the privilege to visit Rotary International Headquarters in Evanston in Illinois, and it was a great pleasure being there. So everybody who hasn't been, go there. You can book it online, and it's a wonderful experience.
Awesome. Thank you, Christina. So here we are. We got Superman himself.
I'm happy to have sponsored Mark, and as a USC graduate, he's probably the person that is very much to be applauded today because of the president being here. So,
thank you, Clark. All right. Squeezing through. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Roger is matching what Cart takes in this month. So everybody be very generous in your donation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so if you dropped off $1 and you'd like to give 10, I'd be happy to give you your $1 back. All right, here we go.
Oh, I don't have.
You don't have anything to say? You're here. The sun came up. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Got something?
Yes, Roger.
And I'm only going to put in $1, so I only have to match $1. That's actually my last $1. But I'm happy today. I think we had a terrific event last Thursday night, right? Casino night. I hope you all were able to make it. Or those of you who didn't, make sure you come next time. We had a great time. A lot of gambling, and nobody lost any money. Nobody won any money, but nobody lost any money.
That is good news. Good news. Happy bucks. My wife left for Washington, D.C. today. That's not the good news. It's that I get all that awesome time with my awesome 6-year-old. That's mine. Anyone else? Roger is walking around, so I'm just going to occupy some time here. What about this side of the room? No, going, gone. This is some great happy bucks. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah. And again, get your blue buckets going. Remember, I'm matching. Take my money. Take my money. Okay, a few announcements. This coming Thursday, we got a bunch of stuff going on. We're having a special Discover Rotary session at our after hours club meeting. So actually the club meeting usually starts at 5:30. We'll do Discover Rotary at 4:30, a special session there. Then of course at 5:30, we'll have our meeting at Local Q, which is kind of across the street from the Outback Steakhouse. And also on Thursday, there's a couple of shifts available for Harvest Hope Food Bank. Christina passed out some things and they're on your table with the details about that. Please take a moment and read through them. Next Tuesday, it's the 5th Tuesday, and we have a special thing, and I give Jenny all the credit for this. I think this is a fantastic event. We're doing a brown bag lunch. You need to sign up by April 24th for that, but it's kind of our Tuesday off, the 5th Tuesday, and we're all going to get together for lunch at several different places of business. So you got to bring your own lunch, but that should be fun. And again, thanks to Jenny for doing that. We also sent out a link yesterday, or we'll send it out today. The Reedy River Club, they're always really good. They help us out with our Kringle event, and they're asking us to return the favor and help out with the Duck Derby. I've done it the last 4 or 5 years. It's great fun. You kind of get almost depending where you volunteer, a front row seat to the actual Duck Derby. That's coming up on May 3rd. Let me see. Survey. Y'all recall we did a club survey back last fall, and one of the things that came out of that club survey was people were wondering how to get connected to various committees. How does one do that? And I think you all, when you went through new member orientation, you filled out an interest survey, and that's the last time you've seen it. And so we're going to do that more regularly. I think, some people, the last time they did the interest survey, they selected singing Christmas tree or something like that. So anyhow, this was Christina's idea, copied from church. So annually, we're going to send out a survey to everybody. It should come out in the next day or two. Jenny will send it to you. That will gauge your interest in what committees you might want to be a part of. And my commitment is, if you select a committee, somebody will contact you. And that's really not the easiest thing to promise, but I'm going to do my best to make sure that you get reached out to. Last item of business here. Next month, we have Sam, and I hope I say his name correctly, Conduros, or something similar to that. He's coming from the city. He's going to talk about advancing the next generation of economic development in Greenville. And he'll be here on May 13th for our next luncheon. So don't miss it. All right. If you bow your heads, please. Just as we gather today, let us take a moment to reflect on the purpose that unites us, service above self. May we approach our time together with open minds, kind hearts, and a spirit of collaboration. Let our efforts today bring positive change to others and strengthen the bonds within our club. And may we lead with integrity, act with compassion, and serve with joy. And if you'll stand for the pledge, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jeremy Ackles. Serve with the After Hours Club. And again, come join us Thursday. We have a lot of fun. We do a lot of good work for the community, and we have a lot of fun. So that'll be Thursday. I have the honor of introducing our guest today. I was once a guest, and now I feel like I'm a part of the family. So when I speak your name, please stand and keep standing. And until all of our guests have been introduced, and to our audience, please hold your applause until all of our guests have been introduced. All right, so first we have Elliot Kelly. guest of Delissa English. Ben Murray, guest of Wade Cole. Michelle Suarez, guest of Kendra Williams. And then we have Reed Sherrard, guest of the club. Captain Eric Grabschi, also a guest of the club. Did I miss anyone? All right, well, club, give them a warm welcome. All right, thanks again, and see you all Thursday, hopefully.
Well, it's my honor to introduce the staff member of the month and teacher of the month at Alexander Elementary. Many of you volunteer, you know the good work they do over there and the challenges that they face and the hurdles we try to help them overcome. If you would, ladies, first I'd like to introduce is Mary McDaniel. She's teacher of the month, first year, fourth grade teacher at Alexander. She has that look of a deer in the headlights, which we totally understand. And also joining us is Lisa Mercurio. She's a staff member of the month winner. She's been in counseling for 20 years, but this is her first year at Alexander. Ladies, thank you for joining us.
So I'm Christine Amin. I am your president for next year. But today I am going to talk about something called the Peacemaker Award. Now, anybody familiar with the Peacemaker Award at all? Ever heard of it? Okay. Roger. Okay. So in Greenville, we have an organization entity called the Upstate Mediation Center. And it is a place where people can come and mediate mostly legal cases, and it's mostly family law cases. I have been involved with Upstate Mediation Center for several years. I am a volunteer mediator there. I have been on the board for, 3-4 years. I'm the past chair of the board. Well, several years ago, about 4 or 5, Upstate Mediation Center started giving out an annual award called the Peacemaker Award. And it is given to anyone in the community that is a peacemaker, is somebody who promotes tolerance, peace, diversity, just basically getting along. It doesn't have to be a lawyer. It doesn't have to be a Rotarian. It doesn't have to be a mediator. It's anybody in the community that you believe is making efforts towards making peace. And as we know, we all need more peace in our life. So they sent, the Upstate Mediation Center has sent announcements to a lot of different organizations in the community looking for nominations. And so they sent something to our club, since we are the biggest Rotary club in Greenville. They sent something to our club just asking for nominations. So I believe that Jenny, where is Jenny? Is she in here? Okay, she's still out in the hall. I'll make sure that Jenny puts a link on our weekly newsletter. And as you sit here today, if you're thinking, oh, I know somebody who is out there trying to promote peace in the world or peace in our community, and I'd like to nominate that person, we'll make sure that there is a link on our newsletter, on our website, so that you can click on that and go and fill out the nomination form. Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon, guests and fellow Rotarians. We have just 2 months left in our Rotary year to get in contributions in support of the Rotary Foundation that will count for this year, and there's never been a better time to be doing that. About a month ago, we had our Rotarian from another club, Al Steele, up here talking to us about truly remarkable clean water projects that have been taking place in Honduras over the last, I want to say, 20 years. And at times, if you were here, you'll know Al was moved to tears talking about how lives of young children, all people across that country have been transformed by those clean water projects. Some of the people in this club have had an opportunity to go and see those, but maybe the way that most of us are going to travel to Honduras is not with our persons, but with our dollars. And that happens through the work of the Rotary Foundation. I say there's never been a better time. I think we're all aware that the new administration in Washington has new priorities, and among those are pulling back on our government's traditional work with global aid abroad. That makes the work of entities like the Rotary Foundation even more important. And as I say, it's never been a better time for this too, because we have a remarkable opportunity. For any dollar you give in May, I think probably now until the end of May, in support of the Rotary Foundation, you will actually get triple Paul Harris points, because our club will match them and the district will match them. So if you give $100 in May, you will get 300 Paul Harris points to take you towards either Paul Harris status or towards the next highest rung there. So please consider a contribution to the Rotary Foundation next month. It's important work. It's doing work like those global grants in Honduras. In fact, last year, the Rotary Foundation awarded some 1,200 global grants totaling $72 million. Please be part of that work. It transforms lives, as Al told us. So now on to our speaker, which I'm going to connect to the Rotary Foundation because he has a chemical engineering background. There's got to be some chemical engineering going on in the clean water projects in Honduras, I would think, as well as he is also a man of the world. So I'm going to try to segue here. So we are so grateful to have President Michael Amiridis from University of South Carolina here today. He is a native of Greece. He earned his PhD in chemical engineering from the University of Wisconsin-Madison and worked in private industry for several years before coming on the faculty at USC in 1994. In 2009, he became USC's Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs and Provost, and served some 6 years in that capacity before becoming Chancellor of the University of Illinois at Chicago in 2015. In 2022, he came back to USC when named as the university's 30th president. A fellow of both the American Association for the Advancement of Science and the American Association of Institute of Chemical Engineers, President Amiridis and his wife are the parents of 2 children, both of whom are USC grads. Go Gamecocks. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to President Michael Amiridis.
Well, good afternoon. And thank you for the invitation to be with you. I view Greenville as the second home of the University of South Carolina. And it's not because of our medical school, which is present here. It's not about our USC Upstate, which is in Spartanburg, but they have a strong presence here as well. But what is impressive is the number of graduates that we have in this metropolitan area. In fact, the numbers say that we have 43,000 graduates here, which is the second biggest number other than Richland and Lexington, where we have 60,000 there. So that's why I'm calling it our second home here, with a lot of our really supporting graduates that we have and the impact they have in this community. I don't know if any of you aspire to be presidents of a university. My suggestion to you is, if you're thinking about right now, just think again for a period of time. And I'm saying this because this is a very challenging period for higher education. There are a lot of issues that you hear and you read about, but the biggest issue that we are facing, in my opinion, is losing the public trust. And this is not new. This did not happen in January or February of this year. This is not even 5 years ago. We're talking about a trend that has been moving in this direction for several years, 10 to 15 years now. And the polls show exactly this. The polls also show that this loss of public trust doesn't necessarily correlate with one part of the political system. It comes both from the right and from the left. And there may be differences in the percentages and differences for the reasons, but it is true that we see this from Republicans and for Democrats. Some of the issues are different in terms of political or philosophical issues, but they also converge on a couple of problems. And the two that we know clearly, the big difference, first of all, is the cost of higher education. And you will see that both right and left agree with that. And on the other side also is the value of the degrees. And that's again coming from the left and from the right. Now, this is what I hear a lot about it. But here's the problem with these statements. The Federal Bank of New York issues every couple of years analysis of the income based on education. And the most recent one came out last fall. They're not having anything to do with higher education. There are third-party validation, as we would call it in business. And they made it very clear that university graduates, on average, are having a significant higher income than high school graduates across the country, right, in all areas. We know this also for South Carolina because we have labor statistics here. And I can tell you that specifically, right, by area, in the Greenville County, if you have a college degree, you are making on average 72% more than a high school graduate. If you go to the next county, to Spartanburg, same story, 48% more in terms of income for a college graduate compared to a high school graduate. And that is true in all counties of South Carolina. And the numbers vary, but the outcome is exactly the same. The problem here is the word on average. This is true for 75% of the college graduates, but it's not true for 25% of the college graduates as well. So we have some college graduates, 25% of them, that actually do not earn more than a high school graduate. And the difference, as you can imagine, has to do with the fields. In the arts, in the humanities, and in the social sciences is where we see now this trend. There's also the question, and the blame on higher education, of increasing the cost of education. I hear many times when I meet graduates from the 60s, from the 50s, one of the first questions that I'm asked is, do you know what the tuition was when I was in college? And I know usually it's $150 or $200, and I say, I pretend that I don't know, and I hear it, right? So there is indeed an increase of the cost and an increase of the debt, and they continue to be increasing. But this is not true for the public universities. In fact, what we see, right, is that this is primarily the reason that we see the average increase again is from private institutions and to some extent, some other states. Here in South Carolina, we have actually decreased the cost of higher education. And this is with the support of the General Assembly, which for 7 years now, House and Senate and the administration, the governor are in agreement. They provide tuition mitigation funds to the universities. And for 7 years now, all the public universities in the state have kept the tuition the same. Now think about it, 7 years, right? In the last 7 years, inflation increased by 25%. So if you keep the same number, the same tuition for 7 years, in essence, you have decreased the cost of the value of higher education by 25%. So why are we responsible for increasing the cost. We are not. But of course, the general public is looking at the average again. And let's talk about the debt as well. You hear that, oh, people are coming out, undergraduates, with 100,000 in debt. Where are these people? There are private institutions and expensive private institutions. In fact, at the University of South Carolina, right now, 50% of our graduates graduate with zero debt. And the average of the other 50%, 28,000. Can you buy a car with 28,000? Yes, I can, for my kids, not for me. Right? It's a little bit used this way. But that's what we are talking about. So these are the numbers, and this is what we are doing. And let me add something else that we have done recently at the University of South Carolina. In fact, we're going even further in terms of the cost of higher education, because 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago by now, we made a commitment, and we called it the USC commitment and promise. And our commitment is that any high school graduate from the state of South Carolina, if they are in the top 10% of their class for the flagship and 20% of the class in our other institutions and campuses, they will be automatically admitted to our universities, and we will guarantee them free tuition and fees. So we are pushing in this direction to even make it even easier and affordable for the low-income families if they are below 85,000. That's why we draw the average for South Carolina, right? We will give you free tuition and fees if you are in the top 10% or 20% and your income is below 85,000. But the problem that we face is that, truth or not, the perception in the public is equal to reality, in their opinion. And that's the challenges that we have. And that's what we need to change. Put on top of this a significant decrease in high school graduates that we will face next year, in 2026. We call it in the higher education as the cliff. And why are the demographics are changing all of a sudden next year? Well, if you go 18 years back, this is 2008. And during the crisis of 2008, the birth rates decreased by 8% that year. The millennials decided, well, let's wait. Let's take a look at what is happening. And if you remember the crisis of 2008, 2009, it was almost a V in the economy. That was not the case in the birth rates. It became almost an L. So that's what we are facing next year, with 8% decrease in number of high school graduates across the country. And that actually is going to be the case here in South Carolina as well. So add this to the loss of support for South Carolina or trust of higher education, and you understand that we're in a very challenging storm in higher education. Also, because of the decrease in number of students that we will have from high schools, we will end up soon having more capacity than demand for the seats that we have. And the result, you're already seeing it. I was very sorry to hear what happened with Limestone University in Gaffney. You probably heard that they're shutting down the doors because they have debt, they don't have the enrollment, and they cannot pay for the debt. So they are going to close their campus. And unfortunately, I'm afraid we will see more of this in the next 10 years. Primarily, the institutions that will be affected will be smaller private institutions and maybe some very small public institutions as well. With all this in mind, and during this turmoil, I can tell you with great confidence that the University of South Carolina during this period is thriving and is building momentum. We are going against the trends. Now, what is the basis for this? And how can I justify it? Because other presidents may come and tell you exactly the same thing. Otherwise, they should be fired from their job. Right? So first of all, we have great demand for the university. When I came back 3 years ago, we had approximately 42,000 applications for our freshman class. Just 3 years later, this year, we received 60,000 applications. 60,000 applications for 7,500 seats that we have. And by the way, out of the 60,000 applications, 45,000 are coming from outside the state. We're truly a national university. Of course, we remain steadfast to the priority of South Carolinians. First, we admit all the South Carolinians that we believe that they can get a degree and they're ready for it. And only then we go to the out-of-state students and be very careful about it. And unfortunately, we leave a lot of outstanding students out because we don't have the capacity to go beyond that. A lot of people ask me, why are they applying with these numbers? And why are they coming to Carolina? Is it the academic component? And the answer is yes. The Honors College, the Darla Moore School of Business, we have seen great increase in the Molinaroli College of Engineering and Computing. Public health is one of the best programs in the country. Nursing is one of the best programs in the country. We are now seeing colleges that they're in the top 20, 30 for both public and private institutions in the country. So yes, academic is the reason. Is it the first year experience that we offer? The answer is yes, because we do have a unique environment that we create. Is it the culture of the university? Is it the Southern hospitality? Is it the Greek life? And every time that I hear this word, I say, this is not the Greek life. There are some other people that are having their life. But you know what I'm talking about, right? And they love it. Is it the SEC experience and athletics? Is it the weather? I had yesterday a recruit that we were trying to bring in for one of our top athletic groups that she's from Minnesota. And I said, how do you feel today? She says, I feel very good, actually, with this weather, right? So it's all of the above. And for each one of their students have different criteria. But at the end, the bottom line is that they vote with their SUVs. When they come into the dorms, you see the SUVs in big lines, and you see the parents that they come from South Carolina, they come from New York, they come from all over, from Illinois, even from California, not with the SUV. Then they have a rented car in order to bring them in. And you see them. You see the strength that we have there. Also, it's important to point out that we're trying and can continue to change things to make it even more attractive. What I hope and I expect that we're going to see, one of the reasons that they will be coming here is because we're placing a lot of emphasis on the degree to career transition. We want them to be educated, but we also want them to get a job. And more so for the parents want them to have a job. Repeatedly, I have asked big groups of prospective students whether any of them is very wealthy and is not going to work for a living. Because if they do, I want to meet their parents. Right? And the answer is always yes, we want to get a job. So we're paying a lot of emphasis on the transition from degree to career. We are providing now special skills to our students on top of their degrees, so they can have their degree and they can choose among a number of certificates that we have that will help them find a job with no added cost and using their elective courses in order to fulfill these certificates. And also, we're looking and we are pushing them towards internships. And that's a great relationship that we have with the General Assembly and with the governor that provided us funding to incentivize these internships. And for the last 2 years now, we had over 1,500 students who took advantage of these internships. These students have worked in almost 40 counties in the state with 320 businesses. And you know what? What we see them now starting graduating, because it's a new program, we see that 30% of them, 1 out of 3, starts their career at the same place where they did their internship. And that's a big advantage for the students and for their parents. Because of the demand that we also have a very strong financial position. So when other institutions, even flagships or land grant institutions, right now they face problems financially, we are actually being very aggressive. We are hiring people. We're hiring 100 new faculty members last year and this year because we're starting new programs in industrial engineering, in AI and computer science, in the business school, which is bursting through the seams, and they need more faculty members, a new industrial design program, nursing, again, bursting through the whole building that they have, and there's such a demand for nurses that we need to continue to provide, and it goes on and on and on. So we are building our human infrastructure, but we are also building and improving our facilities infrastructure. And the reason that we can do that is because we operate with a positive margin, and we are able to use the money to do exactly this. We are also have a great year in research. Last year, for the first time, we broke the record that we had over 300 million in new research funds that came to us. Now, there are some challenges this year with the indirect costs from NIH and now the Department of Energy, and I suspect it's going to go to NSF, and it's going to be through the entire federal agencies that provide funding. But I'm actually hopeful that we will renegotiate a new rate with the current administration. It's not going to be 15%, maybe 30%, and I think we will be able to live with this. The point here is that we have a strong research program, and we're highlighting tech issues, assisting the companies that they're in South Carolina, addressing problems in South Carolina. Energy, for example, is a big deal. Generation, transition, and storage here that creates a lot of problems for a manufacturing-based economy that we have. And we provide new ideas. It's interesting that over the last few years, we're paying a lot of attention, right, on CEOs of technical companies, and rightfully so, because they have been excellent in commercializing great ideas. But we forget that their companies do not produce most of these ideas. Most of these ideas are produced by the universities, and the majority of the universities that they're research institutions have each one of them a very good example of how our ideas became commercialized. I think we need both of these. We do need the corporations that bring this to the market, but if we miss the universities' innovation and the universities' ideas, we will break a great system that we had for a number of years, and that's important. You know, being punitive against universities and using research for it, that's a mistake. I can go on and on and on, but I can tell you also that, as you heard, I have been in the leadership of universities, of the University of South Carolina and the University of Illinois at Chicago for 16 years right now. And we have faced during this period several crises. I was the provost here when we had the 2008-2009 financial crisis. I was the chancellor at Chicago when in 2015 through 2017, Illinois did not have a budget, and we had to operate without a budget for 2 years. And also, of course, we faced the problems of COVID in 2020 in a different environment than South Carolina, but it was very different to be in a big city than it was here. What I have learned during these periods is that some universities circle the wagons and some others actually find ways through innovation to move forward, to escape forward was one of the terms that I had used in the past. I have also seen that after a crisis, there are also winners and losers. And in my experience, the key to be a winner after a crisis is the ability to innovate and not being afraid to make changes. This is exactly what we are doing over the last 3 years at the University of South Carolina. And this is why I'm confident that we are in great position and we are thriving. Thank you for the invitation. It's great to be in Greenville again. And if we have time, I'll be happy to answer questions. Thank you. So the question is, are we going to be concerned bringing in international students? And I think what you're referring to is the issue right now that a lot of universities in the country are facing with the visas, right? And the federal government. First of all, we're trying to understand what is going on because we really don't know. We are not notified by the Department of State. The students are not notified by the Department of State. All the universities, we are checking our list of visas on a daily basis and in some cases every few hours to see if any of them has been removed. And then we notify the students who haven't heard before. Having said this, the numbers and the percentages are very low. I can tell you at the University of South Carolina, we had 12 students, international students, that they have lost their visas. Now, we have to be careful here because we're getting into legal issues, and I'm not a lawyer to give you all the potential problems or not. But the key, first of all, is that a number of them are no longer at the university because students can also get an opportunity to do some practical training. And this is 1 year after they graduate. And if they're in the STEM fields, they can be 3 years. So out of the 11 that we had, 5 they have graduated already from the university. So they're in different companies. And we don't even being able to negotiate with them or let them know. So it's not an issue with the university there. It's with young people who are working in the country, right? And they have a problem with their visa there. So that's a different story. The existing students is a very, very small percentage of our students. Now, are there issues that have to do with behavior or changes? You read the newspapers. I cannot speak about it at this point. It's very difficult. And I hope that this one will be rectified as well. Now, is this causing some fear among the graduate students? I have an outstanding undergraduate student who is in my office. As, she works, we have several students in my office. She's from Brazil. She's in her second year. And I ask her, are you going to go home? Well, I'm afraid to go there. And I said, why are you afraid? Well, because she reads what she reads. But I don't think that she's at risk, having done absolutely nothing at this point. So it is a problem that has to be rectified soon. That's an interesting question. I never think like this. I think about the worst case scenarios. I don't think about the best case scenarios. I think having some stability in terms of what is happening right now with different regulations. Part of the problem that we face is that every Friday afternoon, I don't know what's going to happen. We see executive orders, we see things that sometimes make sense. Sometimes we're trying to figure out what is going on. And I hope that we will reach a level of stability with making decisions, but making decisions that they are stable and not going back and forth on several issues. We work very well with the technical colleges. In fact, we signed a very good agreement. It was at the beginning of last fall, together with Jim Clements. It was USC and Clemson, together with the technical colleges, make sure that there is a very easy transition between the two. And at the same time, we're working together as R1s with the technical colleges because you need both in order to have the type of workforce you need, not only to continue doing manufacturing, but going beyond just assembly lines, going into advanced manufacturing, going into design centers and research centers. I think we are aligned, both the R1s and the technical colleges, and we are aligned also with the Secretary of Commerce here and with the entire administration. So I think we're at the right place, and I think we work very well together. No, they are not all threatened. We had a number to start with, right? We had 12 million in grants that they have been terminated. But keep in mind that if we're talking about 300 million per year, 12 million is 4% of what we are doing. It affects directly some of the faculty members that they got these grants, but overall for the university is a very small number. In terms of the indirect costs, that is going to cost us on the order of 20 to 25 million a year, which is a bigger number, if indeed the indirect costs remain at 15%. Keep in mind that right now nothing has changed because of protecting measures that the courts have taken. And we will see how far this will go with the courts. Our IDC rate for USC is on the order of 47%. And when you go down from 47% to 15%, that's the difference that we have seen. Now, it is even much higher for the private institutions. What you hear about Harvard or Johns Hopkins, their numbers are, their percentage is close to 70 or even more than 70%. So for them, it's even much more important. And there is a difference also in terms of where you are, because the cost of the infrastructure that you have varies from, Los Angeles to Greenville or to Columbia. So these are the type of changes that we see. Again, I'm optimistic that we will not stay at the 15% because it makes no sense. The contractors that they work with the federal government have similar percentages. They don't get 15%, and the 15% number came out of nowhere. Right? It came out because some foundations, they do not provide more than 15%. But the foundations don't care about our infrastructure. The government should care about our infrastructure and how we maintain this infrastructure. So that's the difference that I see. I think that wisdom will prevail and we will come to some kind of negotiation somewhere between of where we were and where it is right now. And it's not nowhere here, there, just to be clear here, because the courts say stop at this point. I can tell you, I was exchanged text messages with Jim Clements this morning. It happens very often. We work very well. People think that just because we don't like each other at the field of football primarily, right? We don't talk to each other for the entire year. Well, even during the football game, we'll exchange some messages. Now it may be a little bit more, I'm biting you or you're biting me in this, but we have a very good relationship and we have worked very well together. One example that I have is the effort that we made to get the designation from the federal government a year ago as an innovation hub in South Carolina. We started this 2.5 years ago. It was in Columbia that we looked at this. Hey, this looks good. We need to work on it. The first person that I called was Jim. And within 3 days, he said, yes, Clemson is in as well. And then we got others. And at the end, we handed it to the Department of Commerce. And we work very well together in this because it's in our benefit. Sometimes we will compete a little bit, especially when it comes to admissions, because both of us want the best and the brightest in the state. And yes, there is some competition there, but that doesn't stop us from working very well together in things that we collaborate. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Normally I get to shake your hand after you speak, but the maze we've got running in here today makes it difficult. And I can assure you, you're 100% correct. It is important to the parents that our kids get jobs. Toughest thing you'll ever do for those of you not there yet is get them off the payroll. Car insurance and the cell phones are last. Anyhow, exactly. As always, we have a book for Alexander Elementary School, which Michael's been kind enough to autograph for us, and I'll leave that with Mike to get it over to the school. Just remember our 4 things. I'll talk about we've had great turnout at Discover Rotary, not today, but the last, 3 or 4 sessions that we've done, we've had great turnout and great conversion If you get them to Discover Rotary, there's a good chance we'll get them into membership. So please bring your friends to Discover Rotary. Again, we're doing a special one Thursday night, 4:30 at Local Q before the after hours meeting. Please volunteer. And to that end, the survey's coming out this week. Please take a chance and let us know what you might be interested in helping with. Lunch twice a month is great, but the real club experience is when you get involved and do stuff. So please do that. And if you'll rise with me, we will recite the four-way test. Of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?